Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to use the .NET tool called Reflector. Reflector is a tool that will allow you to decompile and analyze any .NET based assembly. It's a pretty powerful tool. It's one that you can use to basically figure out what your own code is doing or what other people's code is doing if you want to maybe implement some logic that's very similar. Reflector will allow you to decompile and view the code in multiple different languages. Of course, it handles C# and VB. It will also handle other things like Managed C++ or even just raw IL. If you want to download Reflector, you can go out to this website we're on right now. I'll have the URL in the episode contents. Well, Reflector not only will let you decompile assemblies, but also allows you to add in other add-ins. Here's the Codeplex project for all the various add-ins that are available. Adding in the various add-ins is very simple, and we'll go over that in detail. Some of the add-ins that I've used are the code metrics as well as like the file disassembler. I've used other ones, but those are the two I use on a regular basis. Now let's go and get started. One thing you need to do is you need to download Reflector and unzip it into a directory, and I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now when I download and start to run this Reflector version, it tells me it's out of date. So let's go ahead and update this. You can see it's downloading the latest release right now. And the first thing that happens when you load Reflector is ask you which assembly or which framework version do you want to target. By choosing the various frameworks, it will actually bring in the needed references for all the other projects or all the other assemblies. So I'm going to go ahead and choose 3.5 and load that over here. Let's go ahead and make this full size. You'll notice that it brings in all the references. And I'm going to go ahead and delete some that I don't need, so I'm going to go ahead and select it and hit the delete key. I was talking earlier that you can use any language you want. Here you go. You can change the various languages it will output to. I'm going to leave mine in C# for now. Now, ideally, you're probably not going to want to just look at a core assembly. You're going to want to look at either your own assembly or another assembly, so you're going to have to add that. So I'm going to go ahead and click the Open button. And it should bring up this Open Assembly dialog. And I'm going to navigate over to my Dimecast directory. It's going here. Let's go ahead and find one of my own assemblies. I'm going to choose my domain assembly. And you'll see it adds it over to the bottom. Now right now I did not bring any of the third-party references that I have. It will prompt me as I need them to bring those in. You don't have to bring them in if you want, it just makes life a little easier. If I expand this, you'll see real quick it notifies me of any resources that I've embedded into my assembly. I have an XML document here that's for my RSS feed template. And if I expand here on the assembly name, you'll see all the namespaces that are as part of this assembly. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of my services namespace. And here are all the different classes, and I can then go into say feed, and it'll show me the base type, the derived type, all the various methods. The bolded methods are public, the grayed out methods are private. Now in order to view the code for say generate RSS feed, I can do one of two things. I can double click on it, or I can come over and right click and say disassemble. Now here it's mentioning to me that I have third-party references I have not brought into Reflector. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Here's the disassemble code. As you can see, right now it's in C#. I can switch it over to say VB, Managed C++, whatever I want, or even IL if I really wanted. One thing to keep in mind when you're looking at disassembled code, it will not name variables the same as what they were in your actual code. It'll name them pretty generically based on what it thinks they are from like an object or whatever. One thing that's really cool about this tool is if I look at this code and I'm not really sure what an RSS item is, or what an X document is, or RSS channel, for example, I can actually click and it'll go to something. So let's go ahead and say X document. It'll navigate over and show me the X document class listing. And this is just a collapsed version of all the methods. If I want to see all the full implement method, I can scroll down to the bottom and say expand methods. And here you go. I've got all the code within this class. Let's go ahead and navigate back to my code. To navigate, you can just use the green right or left arrows. Now taking a look at code is pretty cool, but maybe I want to generate an entire class file. Maybe I want to reverse compile something. Well, fortunately for us, those add-ins will actually do that for us. Now, let me bounce back over to my code real quick. I've downloaded a few add-ins already. the disassembler add-in as well as the code metrics add-in. I've already unzipped those into their own folders. I like to keep each add-in in their own folder. I think it just keeps it a little cleaner. To add an add-in, you just come in Addins, go into the Addins window, click Add, and let's go ahead and navigate to File Disassembler, and we'll go ahead and add the code metrics tool as well. So I can add these, I can remove them if I wanted to. Now in order to use, say, the File Disassembler, all I'm really going to have to do is I can choose a class I want, and I can come up here and do File Disassembler. Oh, need to actually choose my entire assembly, sorry. And over here on the bottom right, you'll see the File Disassembler panel pops in and asks me, how do I want to output this? Do I want to output as a class library, Windows application, console application? Where do I want to put it? I'm going to go ahead and leave it in the default location. I'm going to hit, actually it's, leave in the default location, hit generate. And it's going to tell me it needs to bring in a few extra references, no big deal. And it finished successfully with 0 errors. That's always good. Now if I bounce over to here, I can go take a look. Let's go into web. It output it into my bin, into this folder here. You'll see it actually creates all the various files, pops them into their own directories for you, and even creates a project file for you. So you could really easily just double click this, open it up, compile it, see how it works. Or you can open up each individual file one after another. This is a pretty powerful tool. I've used it numerous times in order to see how things are done. Now one of the other tools I added in as well is a thing called Code Metrics. Well, what Code Metrics is, it's a plugin that will give you basically cycliomatic complexity reading on your entire code base. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. In order to use this, all you do is you select the assembly you want to take a look at. You come up here, click Start Analysis, and it will output all the information. This is a pretty cool little add-in because it allows you to take a look at your code and see how complex it is. And it'll allow you to drill in and look at the various methods and different classes inside your assembly. Now, what have we gone over today? We've learned how to use the Reflector tool. We've learned how to add our own assembly. You can do so by clicking this Add. If you want to refresh it, you simply click Refresh. You would want to do this, say, if you recompiled your own assembly. We saw how you can download various add-ins from the Codeplex website and how you can actually add them to your project by going Add-ins and adding them one after another. We've actually seen how to use them briefly. This is an introductory overview on how to use Reflector, but it should be good enough to get everybody started. Hope you enjoyed yourself and hope you learned something. Till next time.